Overall, I find half of founders know about growth equity and are super educated on that front. And the other half have heard of venture capital and have heard of private equity buyout models, but aren't really aware that there's another option that's somewhere in the middle. Venture capital tends to be earlier stage. So companies that, hey, maybe it's an idea, or maybe you have a few customers that really like it. And with it, there's really high risk in terms of the business. So that means from an investor incentive perspective, you need to invest in a ton of companies. Your portfolio needs to be incredibly diversified because the risk profile is high. And with that, it also means that the incentives of venture capital firms, when they are investors, is to focus on the winners, because that is where the power law would tell you that most of the returns are going to come from. And there's lots of great venture capital firms out there that are wonderful at this and are good people. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there's private equity, which for the most part is majority, where somebody's coming in and buying a majority of the business. It could be a great option for founders who are looking to liquidate a good chunk of the business, or hey, I built the business to XYZ stage and I want to go back and start another company. This is not, now this is becoming bureaucratic and this isn't what I want to do. Often folks will recap. Sometimes private equity gets a bad rep because founders don't want to give up control of the business. And founders also sometimes think of like, oh, you're going to put a bunch of debt onto my balance sheet. You're going to let go of a bunch of people to focus on profitability, which sometimes is true, sometimes is not, depends on the private equity firm. But I'd say like later stage, giving up control is private equity. Growth equity is somewhere in between. The companies that growth equity firms are investing in are real businesses. They have a bunch of customers. They have some semblance of a repeatable sales motion, who actually uses the product, an understanding of how they appreciate or don't appreciate the use cases. And typically, growth equity firms are also coming in as minority investors. So you're not coming in and trying to run the business. And oftentimes, folks also only think you can put capital onto the balance sheet to drive growth. You actually sometimes can just take a few chips off the table.